Good morning! Today we transform this sleepy village into a beautiful landscaped monastery. Welcome to MorningCraft, let's go! So I'm here with Abbot Theron, and it's time to transform this village into a monastery. In the last episode we built this bridge, and this is going to evolve into a huge fortress, which is going to wrap around this monastery. I did a bit of terraforming to the village as it was quite uneven, but it still had an interesting shape. But I really want to get this done before the fortress so that we know where we're placing our walls. And the most interesting thing about this landscape is this weird sort of rectangular hole with a water source and sort of a little bit of a, I don't know, what would you call it, an aquifer or a well or a spring? And so I reshaped this hole, but it's got a pretty interesting feature as you head up into the mountains. It's got this pretty cool cave that wraps round into the valley. And I think we could turn this into something beautiful, perhaps our very own lush cave, or maybe an interesting feature in the fortress that surrounds the monastery. But I think from now on, our builds are going to be getting a little bit bigger in scale. So I hatched a plan for this region, and I wanted to turn it into something really based around this pool of water. Perhaps it's a well, or perhaps they're going to make wine here. Not quite sure which yet. But I know that on top, we're going to be building the main building of the monastery. And so I laid out a stone foundation for this building. But there was still a bunch of work to be done on the spring underneath it. And so I made the entranceway a little more exciting, but it was still dark in there. And so I lit it up and I added a staircase up to the main building. And now we can finally look inside. You can see all these pillars, a sort of bridge over the little stream we've got, and it really does feel like a dingy basement. With a few more details, this could make a comfortable wine brewery, and this guy heard that there was wine on offer. I also detailed our staircase with a bunch of berries, bushes and leaves. I'm pretty much addicted to using glowberries, but not as addicted as I am to switching to story segments. Here we go.
So you mentioned the dog was in Thaldrim.
He has set up a village there with the people that left the heap. The abbot that the priest mentioned is also there, along with some other good people.
If the abbot is studying this prophecy, and the dog is all part of this too, then we should head to Thaldrim to support and protect them.
If the swordfish wasn't ruined, we could be there soon, but it may take some time by horse.
Have the soldiers gather supplies. We'll bring a small force to assist the dog.
And we're back, and I've put in some walls to make it a little bit easier to navigate around these different tiers. But I added a bunch of different trims to bring each of these tiers to life. And this is a perfect example of my overuse of glowberries. But like I said, we are going to be turning this into part of the fortress. It's going to stretch down from this bridge past the mini castle and then all along the lake. And then it's going to wrap around the monastery, which I've marked out here. I'm going to be replacing most of the buildings in this area, and the rest of it is going to be for crops and animals. But after cleaning up the paths, it looks a little bit better now. And this is only the beginning of our new monastery. We have all these tiered platforms which can have a bunch of staircases, And then we're going to have a grand abbey on this stone foundation. And all of this work will bring that sleepy little village into the grand reach of what will soon be a magnificent city. And in case you couldn't tell, I really, really like glowberries. And there we have it, another episode of MorningCraft. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the monastery, and I'll see you in the next episode.